the first Saturday of August 2026. A few stray thoughts. And a few general remarks. And a few points of view. By way of a roundup of the week. All my own musings.
Like, a week of uneasy peace after turmoil. Jajantaram Mamantaram week.
Rambam Rambam Dhiralekaram Jajantaram Mamantaram Jajantaram Mamantaram न जाने कैसी मुश्किल है आ गई समुंदरम.
Like, Dharmendra Pradhan cannot claim high moral ground. He was forced to quit.
Like, though Pradhan's ouster may augur well for ministerial accountability, it also sends a wrong signal that street fights prevail over parliamentary debates. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that students' agitation was hijacked by political parties. The agitation had disparate elements, those agitating against Pradhan, reservation, Article 370 etc. These are political issues, aren't they? Jantar Mantar cleared of all waste. NMDC cleans up 60 metric tons of waste. CJP says they too cleared up the waste.
The Cockroach Janata Party decided to withdraw the protest and bring the agitation to an end. Hours later, on the same night as these visuals were recorded, crowds had largely dispersed. Police had begun clearing the protest site while only a few protesters remained, some packing up, others cleaning the ground before leaving.
The New Delhi Municipal Council conducted a large-scale clean-up drive in and around Jantar Mantar, a day after the CJP called off its protest. Officials said nearly 60 metric tons of waste are expected to be removed from the protest site and adjoining roads.
पूरे इलाके में साफ सफाई एक बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है. यहाँ पे जो प्रोटेस्टर पिछले एक महीने से अधिक वक्त से थे, तमाम दीवारों पे स्लोगन्स लिखे हुए थे, गंदे गंदे नारे लिखे हुए थे, उन सबको व्हाइट वॉश से साफ किया जा रहा है. और इसके साथ साथ पुलिस पार्टी के द्वारा बैरिकेडिंग हटाने के बाद अब ये कोशिश की जा रही है एनडीएमसी के द्वारा कि कहीं पे भी कोई गंदगी नजर ना आए. और कल अगर दिल्ली वाले इस रास्ते से गुजरे तो उनको ये एहसास भी ना हो कि यहाँ पे पिछले एक महीने से कोई प्रदर्शन हो रहा था और वो प्रदर्शन इतना उग्र था कि उसमें दिल्ली पुलिस के कई आईपीएस ऑफिसर घायल हुए. यहाँ पे आंसू गैस के गोले चल रहे थे, लेकिन अब सब कुछ शांत हो चुका है.
Proactive anticipatory designs. Proactive moves before Assembly session on the 27th of July, 2026. PM Modi announces high-powered task force under Nandan Nilekani for exam reforms.
फ्रेंड्स, विद्यार्थियों के भविष्य के लिए भारत सरकार लगातार अनेकविध कदम उठा रही है. जिन लोगों ने विद्यार्थियों के भविष्य के साथ खिलवाड़ किया, वे जेलों में सड़ रहे हैं. हमने फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट बना चुके हैं. हम कल पार्लियामेंट के अंदर भी कठोर कानूनों के प्रावधान के साथ नया कानून बनाने की दिशा में भी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं. लेकिन हमें भविष्य के लिए सोचना है. हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति विश्वस्त हो, हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति ट्रांसपेरेंट हो, हमारी परीक्षा पद्धति में सबसे ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग हो. इन सारी बातों को ध्यान में रखते हुए विश्व प्रसिद्ध टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपर्ट श्रीमान नंदन नीलेकनी जी के नेतृत्व में एक हाई पावर टास्क फोर्स बनाने का निर्णय किया है, जो एग्जामिनेशन रिफॉर्म की तरफ फोकस करेगा और जल्द से जल्द आने वाली परीक्षाओं की विश्वसनीयता को सुनिश्चित करने का काम इसके रिपोर्ट के आधार पर कर दिया जाएगा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Like, I do not find anything wrong in Rahul Gandhi's statement that fools don't listen to anybody.
Idiots! Who are they? They are absolutely convinced that they know everything. They believe that knowledge emerges from inside them. They believe that they are God. They believe that everything that has to be known is known to them. They are arrogant. They don't listen. They don't respect other people's truth. They are the idiots.
Idiots. Who are they?
They are not students. Who are they? Is they're absolutely convinced that they know everything. They believe that the universe is static. And they believe that knowledge emerges from inside them. They believe that they are God. That everything that is to be known is known to them. They are arrogant. They are arrogant. They don't listen. They don't respect other people's truth. I said, what do you call these people? She said, I call them idiots.
माननीय प्रतिपक्ष के नेता, मेरा आपसे आग्रह है कि हम विधेयक पर चर्चा कर रहे हैं।
मैं मानता हूं कि राहुल गांधी बहुत तरीके से ऐसा शब्द यूज कर रहे हैं, वो एक स्टूडेंट के नाम से ऐसा शब्द का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं। वो इस्तेमाल तो वही कर रहे हैं ना, राहुल गांधी जी ही कर रहे हैं। नाम ले रहा है स्टूडेंट का, स्टूडेंट का नाम नहीं बोल रहे हैं, लेकिन स्टूडेंट का नाम से इन्होंने जो शब्द यूज किया है वो अनपार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड है, और जो अनपार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड है उसका इस्तेमाल करते हैं और उसको हटा देना चाहिए। और बार बार एक ही शब्द को एक छात्र का नाम से बार बार इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं, सर वो नहीं होना चाहिए, वो गलत इस्तेमाल किया। आपके लिए भी इस्तेमाल किया पार्लियामेंट्री शब्द रूल बुक है ना सर, ये रूल बुक में आम पार्लियामेंट्री एक्सप्रेशन का किताब है, और आपने जो शब्द इस्तेमाल किया वो आम पार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड है। मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ रूल बुक एक्सप्रेशन इसके बारे में तो जानकारी रखना चाहिए, इसलिए आपने बार बार, एक बार नहीं बार बार वो शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया है, इसलिए हमारे लोग आपत्ति जताते हैं। गलती तो राहुल गांधी जी का है, क्यों हम पार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड का इस्तेमाल किया है। तो राहुल जी को सम्मान देते हैं, हम इज्जत से हम फिर से कहना चाहते हैं, आपने अन पार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड का इस्तेमाल किया, इसलिए हमारे यहाँ लोग उत्तेजित हुए हैं, अपने आप में तो नहीं हुए। और आपको मालूम है ये अन पार्लियामेंट्री एक्सप्रेशंस तो हमने तो नहीं बनाया, ये जो यहाँ जितना शब्द लिखे हैं जो आप पार्लियामेंट में नहीं कह सकते हैं, ये नियम हमने नहीं बनाया। और इसके मुताबिक आपको अगर संसदीय मर्यादा को ध्यान में रखते हुए बात करना है तो हम लोग सब सुन रहे हैं, आपका भाषण सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन आपने बार बार जो शब्द इस्तेमाल किया तो हमने क्लैरिफाई किया। हम आपके भाषण को हम डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन जो शब्द इस्तेमाल किया उसको आप कृपया इस्तेमाल ना करें, इतना ही है। हम तो सुनना चाहते हैं। मैं अनुरोध करता हूँ राहुल गांधी जी, आप अपना भाषण को कंटिन्यू कीजिए, आप अपना भाषण कंटिन्यू कीजिए, लेकिन वो शब्द इस्तेमाल मत कीजिए, मेरा इतना ही अनुरोध है।
नहीं बोलना चाहते तो आगे बढ़ते हैं। आप नहीं बोलना चाहते माननीय हाँ, माननीय संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने आपसे आग्रह कर दिया है कि आप असंसदीय शब्दों का उपयोग न करें, सदन में बोले, कोई आपत्ति नहीं बोले। नहीं, आप नहीं बोलना चाहते, मैं अगले वक्ता को बुलाऊं। हाउस ऑर्डर में आप बोलिए। माननीय सदस्य, कई मौके मैंने भी देखे हैं इसी सदन में, जब आप नेता सदन के नेता को बोल नहीं देते, डील में आते हैं, अभी आपको चुपते हो सदन में, ऐसा तो नहीं है। आज तो आप करें, ऐसा माहौल मैंने पहले भी देखा है।
देखिए सर, टू कीप हाउस इन ऑर्डर सर is your esteemed responsibility. Sir, the moment I open my mouth, the entire opposition starts to shout. मैं फिर से कहता हूं राहुल गांधी जी, आप इस तरीके से हमारा अच्छा एक डिबेट जो चल रहा है आप लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन है और आप ऐसा परिस्थिति खड़ा मत कीजिए। स्पीकर साहब ने भी जिक्र किया, जब प्रधानमंत्री जी को हमारा जो शुरू में राष्ट्रपति का अभिभाषण को बोलने का आप लोगों ने बिल्कुल रोक करके यहां तक आए और आप लोगों ने कई बार प्रधानमंत्री जी को बोलने नहीं दिया, ऐसा परिस्थिति भी निर्माण कराया आप लोगों ने। और आज तो आपने आज संसदीय भाषा का इस्तेमाल किया, एक पार्लियामेंट्री जो सिस्टम है उसको लेकर के एक नियम हमने पढ़ के सुनाया। ये किताब का भी जिक्र किया कि अन पार्लियामेंट्री एक्सप्रेशन, ये मैंने जिक्र किया। और बाकी हमारा साथियों ने भी कहा है कि आप भाषण कीजिए, लेकिन जो शब्द इस्तेमाल किया है उसमें आपत्ति, इतना ही जो है। फिर आप उसका इतना आप बहुत ही इमोशनल चेहरा दिखा करके ये तो ठीक नहीं है, उसको आप गुमराह नहीं कर सकते हैं।
माननीय सदस्य, माननीय नेता प्रतिपक्ष, इस विषय पर
मैं बोलता हूं सर, रिजू जी खड़े हो जाते हैं, मैं बोलता हूं वो खड़े हो जाते हैं, इंटरप्ट करते हैं। आप उनको, मैंने यील्ड भी नहीं किया, आप उनको जगह दे रहे हैं।
नो, संसदीय कार्य मंत्री आप
ये फिर से आ गए।
देखो, सदन में एक अच्छी व्यवस्थाएं रही है, अच्छी मर्यादाएं रही है और हमें अच्छी मर्यादा बनाने का प्रयास करना चाहिए। जो सदन में मर्यादा तर्क से बोलता है, देश भी सुनता है और सम्मान भी करता है। मेरी अपेक्षा रहती है कि सदन के अंदर शब्दों का चयन ऐसा हो जो संसदीय मर्यादाओं के अनुरूप हो और हमारी चर्चा उच्च कोटि की हो, ये मेरी अपेक्षा रहती है। अब मानो रक्षा मंत्री माननीय राजनाथ सिंह जी सदन के उपनेता हैं, कुछ मानो
सर मैंने यील्ड नहीं किया,
नहीं किसी यील्ड नहीं किया। अगर कुछ
मैंने यील्ड नहीं किया, मेरा भाषण चल रहा है सर, मैंने यील्ड नहीं किया है।
किसी यील्ड करने से नहीं, यूं भी हमारी व्यवस्था रहती है कि कभी नहीं मैंने किसी नो अलाउ, आपको भी अलाउ करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं करते, अलाउ नहीं करते, ठीक है, अलाउ नहीं करते ऐसा नहीं, पर रक्षा मंत्री जी को बोलना चाहते हैं, शायद बोला है सदन में अच्छा माहौल के लिए बोलेंगे।
अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं बहुत ही विनम्रता पूर्वक अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं कि ये असंसदीय शब्द का प्रयोग बड़े नेता प्रतिपक्ष ने किया है, उसे कार्रवाई से निकाल दिया जाए,
अपना व्यवस्था से निकल जाता है।
ओके, वो निकाल दिया जाए। और मैं आप सभी से ये अपील अपने पक्ष से करना चाहता हूं कि इस समय आप शांत रहिए, उनकी बात सुनिए। आप बोलिए।
Idiots! Who are they? They are absolutely convinced that they know everything. They believe that knowledge emerges from inside them. They believe that they are God. They believe that everything that has to be known is known to them. They are arrogant. They don't listen. They don't respect other people's truth. They are the idiots.
And Priyanka Vadra mocking director IIT Madras was in bad taste. Over 200 academics condemned it. Mockery is no substitute for reasoned engagement. More than 200 academicians have written an open letter to Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra objecting to her remarks, widely seen as targeting IIT Madras Director Professor V. Kamakoti during the Lok Sabha debate on the anti-paper leak bill. The signatories said Parliament should encourage reasoned debate rather than ridicule, and argued that reducing a scholar to a label undermines scientific temper. They highlighted Kamakoti's academic achievements and contributions to research, urging public representatives to challenge ideas with evidence instead of personal remarks that discourage academic participation in public discourse.
215 vice-chancellors, former vice-chancellors and academicians have now written an open letter to Priyanka Gandhi over her remarks against Professor V. Kamakoti, who heads the exam task force that was constituted by the central government. She had called him a Gomutra expert during her speech, and that has now triggered this open letter.
Who is V. Kamakoti? V. Kamakoti is a computer scientist and the director of the Indian Institute of Technology Madras. He is a computer scientist and NET task force member. Kamkoti has also been associated with the Shakti microprocessor project at IIT Madras, an initiative focused on developing indigenous processor technology. Priyanka Gandhi called this IIT Madras head a Gaumatra expert. Wah! Professor Kamkoti, 2024 the law was brought in by this government. Why do paper leaks happen despite that? Where are the shortcomings and how do you plan to plug those loopholes?
Okay, how much time I have for answering this question, Bhagujaji? Can I take 3 minutes?
3 minutes, yes.
But don't stop me in the loop.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so 2024 when the meet happened, Bhagujaji, the leak happened when the question paper was printed, put in some trunks and it was distributed in the transit. Somebody had opened the box from back and then removed the question paper and replaced it. This is what came out of the CBI investigation report, and the CBI also at that point said it was contained to 40 to 50 students and all of them were identified. There was a appeal in the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court heard it for 3 full days under the Chief Justice bench. Justice Sanglikar was the Chief Justice then, and finally came to a conclusion that yes, the paper was leaked, but it was contained, so the examination was not compromised, and so they ruled that there will not be a retest. At that point, immediately the Ministry of Education, that then Minister Pradhanji actually put a committee with Dr. Radhakrishnan as the chairman, and they had and with a lot of eminent people who know the process of examination, and they came out, they looked at specifically where the leak leak had happened, and they come out with 250 plus robust recommendations. To be frank, in 2026, the NTA did follow many of those recommendations, and that's why if you see, even in the May 3rd meet, after the paper left the NTA premises, but then it went for printing, it went to boxes, it was put in trunks, it was distributed, finally it reached the hands of the candidate on the day of the examination on the prelim. No leak happened at those spots. The leak happened quite, it was very disturbing as a teacher. It happened before the paper left NTA. The question paper setters were responsible for this leak, as we see in some the CBI reports, the investigation reports. Now, any operations you do, this particular show, your editor or somebody has trusted you. So any operation today, there is a root of trust, and if the root of trust fails, there's essentially a complete examination is failed. So the root of trust in this case has failed, and that is the reason, in spite of the great effort put by Radhakrishnan committee and the NTA's effort to implement Benito's, the leak has happened. This is very, very unfortunate, but to just tell you.
So how will your task force change that, sir? How will you take care of individual fallacies?
Yeah, so just the next meet that happened in June, no complaint has come. You as a journalist must also have looked into it. It has been proper. So there was a lesson learned in the June 3rd meet, which is May 3rd meet, which is actually rectified in the June meet. Now, we have been doing this exam as IIT for several decades. There's not an instance where the question paper setter has actually leaked the questions, right? So we have certain principles by which we can select and trustworthy question paper setters, and that will be one of the focus surely of this committee. Again, a permanent committee has not met, so whatever I am talking is only individual capacity. Committee will meet and they may have more suggestions or different suggestions.
You are watching Sanglikar's Weekly.
Supreme Court and the Jantar Mantar agitation. Murder charges 101. Attempt to murder 62. Rape accused 61. POCSO cases 6. Armed offenders 229. All free.
Why are student protesters called bacche? Why not call them Chhatra Pradarshankari?
CNN News 18 has accessed what could fundamentally change the debate over the Jantar Mantar protests and the intention, more importantly, of the CJP. While some continue to describe CJP's protest as a student movement, and to a large extent it was too. But this is where it gets problematic. Delhi police surveillance and dossier records paint a far more disturbing picture. Using facial recognition system vans, crime kundli databases and verified police records, investigators identified as many as 2,873 individuals with criminal antecedents, all inside the protest gathering at Jantar Mantar. Among them were 101 facing murder charges, 62 accused of attempt to murder, 61 rape accused, 6 booked under POCSO, 229 Arms Act offenders and 67 NDPS accused. Nearly 1,000 had serious criminal histories. Were seasoned criminals hiding in plain sight under the guise of students? Were peaceful protesters used as human cover by hardened repeat offenders? And if so, who enabled all of this? And now that the truth is out, should such accused receive amnesty? Is the Modi government abetting in a still larger sign of omission by allowing CJP to secure an assurance of immunity from prosecution?
सर्वे भी तू सर्वा भी तू, जीवन भी तू मृत्यु भी तू, दाता तू विधाता तू, देता तू लेता तू, सत्य तू असत्य हम, भगवान तू मनुष्य हम.
Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India, Surya Kant, has said that the Supreme Court is going to constitute a high-power probe committee, saying that this is the probe committee which is going to be probing the 20th July violence as well. Instances require a thorough probe is what the Chief Justice of India has said, that law must take its own course, that action must be taken against whoever used excessive force. In fact, the Chief Justice of India, Surya Kant, has called for fair and a transparent probe.
The Cockroach Janata Party has threatened to relaunch its agitation. They have warned that they will resume their nationwide protests to protect the students and the protesters. The Cockroach Janata Party in a statement has said this in response to the Supreme Court interim order earlier today. The Chief Justice of India led bench, they said that FIRs will stay. They of course said there would be no coercive action that will be taken against students. The Cockroach Janata Party says the interim order passed by the Supreme Court must ring alarm bells across the country, in particular Direction number 4. Direction number 4 permits the government to proceed with existing FIRs and carry out investigations. According to the Cockroach Janata Party, this raises extremely serious concerns. This direction stands in direct contradiction to the solemn assurance and guarantees extended by the government to the youth of this nation on the 25th of July 2026. According to the Cockroach Janata Party, that FIRs would be withdrawn and that no protester would be directly or indirectly targeted for participating in the peaceful movement.
Remember, the Supreme Court today refused to provide blanket immunity, said we will order the release of protesters with no criminal records, but you can proceed with the investigation of those responsible for violence in the FIR.
देखिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट अगर कुछ युवाओं के हित में कर रही है तो हम वेलकम करते हैं ऐसे ऑर्डर्स को या जजमेंट्स को, लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो कर रही है वो अपने तरीके से कर रही है, अपने आइडिया के हिसाब से कर रही है, वो करते रहे. हम लोग ग्राउंड पे थे बहुत टाइम से, हम लोग कुछ डिमांड्स थी. हमारा जो एक जो की डिमांड था वो था कि FIR सारे विड्रॉ होंगे सारे प्रोटेस्टर्स के खिलाफ, एंड सरकार को भी समझना चाहिए कि हमारा जो डिमांड है वो जैसा गारंटी दिया था, जैसे देश के सामने उस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में दोनों मिनिस्टर्स ने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया के बिहाफ पे जो एग्री किया था, वैसे ही डिमांड आपको रखना पड़ेगा.
कल क्या होगा किसको पता.
Lathi charge versus right to protest. Supreme Court settles the debate. SC says right to peaceful protest guaranteed. SC observed that the right to peaceful protest is constitutionally guaranteed. SC added that the mere existence of an agitation cannot justify police excesses against demonstrators. The bench also expressed concern over attacks on police personnel, noting that it is of equal concern. SC calls for uniform protocol for protests. The CJI said there should be a clear protocol governing peaceful protests across the country, including designated spaces for demonstrations, while enabling authorities to act against antisocial elements. SC said matter required an all-India approach and indicated mandatory guidelines could ensure uniformity, with self-discipline integral to the process. The matter has been listed for further hearing. Kapil Sibal donates ₹1 crore to CJP for students booked over protests. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal has contributed ₹1 crore to the CJP fund. This fund will provide legal assistance to protesters arrested by Delhi police. The CJP expressed apprehension about criminal cases being filed against students nationwide. Sibal urged advocates across India to contribute to this important cause. A website will soon detail students facing FIRs and offer lawyer assistance. Retired Delhi police officers to hold Dharna on July 31 over attacks on cops during Sansad Chelo. In a letter addressed to the Commissioner of Police, the association requested permission to stage a peaceful demonstration from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the designated protest site. The association also demanded the identification, arrest, and strict legal action against those responsible for assaulting police personnel and inciting violence during the Sansad Chelo protest.
Now, the Delhi Police Mahasangh and Association, which is of retired, non-gazetted and gazetted officers, have now written to the Police Commissioner seeking approval for the protest. Now, this association cites injuries suffered by the Delhi Police and paramilitary personnel during the incidents from the 20th of July onwards, particularly around Jantar Mantar, as the reason behind the proposed demonstration.
SC's pellet gun verdict. SC refuses blanket curb. The Supreme Court said police may use pellet guns in exceptional situations. The court directed the centre to preserve the RAF ammunition log from the July 20th protest. It also ordered the Delhi government to ensure treatment for injured protesters and questioned the plea seeking a blanket ban.
Breaking from the Supreme Court, a bench led by Chief Justice Suryakant observed that police are empowered to use pellet guns in exceptional situations. The court directed the centre to preserve the ammunition log of the Rapid Action Force deployed during the July 20th student protest against NEET paper leaks and asked the Delhi government to ensure proper treatment for those injured. Petitioners had sought a ban on metallic pellet weapons, but the court questioned a complete ban while examining the use of force.
CRPF backs RAF action. A CRPF review said RAF followed all SOPs and force escalation protocols. Officials said pellet guns were used only after announcements, tear gas and lathicharge failed. The force reported 3 to 5 injured protesters and 47 injured RAF personnel, including 6 with head injuries.
Saurav Das's single-word response to the Supreme Court's ruling on pellet guns has ignited controversy. The court allowed use of pellet guns under specific circumstances. The Supreme Court has ruled that pellet guns cannot be banned outright. SC said, existing advisory permits their use in exceptional circumstances. Security agencies retain authority specifically for crowd control situations. However, allegations of specific misuse can be examined individually. Disgusting, Saurav Das wrote while sharing the SC judgment. His response has sparked outrage. First, disrespect the union government, then disrespect the apex court, then disrespect law, authority and constitution, and it goes on. Wrote one user. You are living in a country, holding a copy of the Constitution with the promise to uphold it, and now you are disgusting SC and CJI just because it doesn't suit you, wrote another user. Another user commented, the entire march was disgusting. You guys thought you would walk free as it happened in Nepal and Bangladesh. Now, face the consequence. There should be accountability for every action.
Shri Narayana Murthy, Srimati Sudha Murthy, and Shri Kulkarni, awarded the Royal Astronomical Society's Gold Medal in Astronomy.
India's diaspora once again making its mark globally, with Indian origin astronomer receiving the Royal Astronomical Society's prestigious gold medal in London. And this is the highest honour confirmed by the UK-based scientific body. Kulkarni, who has been serving as a professor at the California Institute of Technology since 1985, earned the gold medal for his discoveries in time domain astronomy, which focuses on studying the lifetime evolution and changes of a variety of cosmic objects. He was also credited for groundbreaking contributions to the field of multi-wavelength transient astrophysics.
Like, I think Nandan Nilekani should be able to fix NEET problems. Restrictions on attempts 2 or 3 exams a year. Like, can there be any doubt that our institutions, including judiciary, need an immediate overhaul? The protests and the social media.
Woman booked for using abusive language against PM Modi at CJP-led Jantar Mantar protest. The case was registered after a resident of Vasundhara in Ghaziabad, Smriti Singh, a lawyer, approached the police station in Noida. In her complaint, Singh alleged that she came to know that the woman, while present at Jantar Mantar, New Delhi, used abusive and objectionable language in public against the Prime Minister of India. This act not only hurt the dignity of a constitutional office but was also allegedly intended to spread hatred and disturb public peace, reads her complaint as per the FIR, accessed by HT. The complainant added, "It is unacceptable and tarnishes our country's image on a public platform." When I came to know about the posts, I confirmed her identity with her friends through social media only and approached the police to take strict action against her to send a message in society that abusive language cannot be used for views and followers.
मोदी अगर तूने रिजाइन नहीं कराना, ये चप्पल दिख रही है,
पूरे प्रोटेस्ट में सबसे ज्यादा यही लड़की है जो मतलब क्या क्या बोली भाई। एक सिटिंग प्राइम मिनिस्टर को तुम इस लेवल का गाली दे रही हो, ठीक है, और एक दूसरे देश की प्राइम मिनिस्टर जो कि फीमेल है, जिसका इन सब चीज से कोई लेना देना भी नहीं है, उस पे इस लेवल का वेरी बैड, वेरी बैड।
और जो घुसा हुआ मेलोडी के अंदर निकल जा उसके बाद।
तो इससे नीचे स्तर नहीं हो सकता, किसी भी एक लड़की का इससे नीचे स्तर नहीं हो सकता, ठीक है।
मोदी जी खुद पढ़े लिखे हैं क्या? उन्हें परीक्षा का पी नहीं आता होगा, एजुकेशन का ई नहीं आता होगा, और बकवास करने के लिए आ जाते हैं।
और तुम्हें नीट का फुल फॉर्म नहीं आता होगा।
क्या आपको नीट का एग्जाम फुल फॉर्म पता है आपको? जैसे एलिजिबल करके कुछ फुल फॉर्म है,
ठीक है।
कौन सी बोर्ड से पढ़ती हैं आप? सीबीएसई बोर्ड। आपको सीबीएसई का फुल फॉर्म पता है?
ठीक है,
आपको नहीं पता है, लेकिन इसका मतलब ये तो नहीं है कि हम कहेंगे कि नहीं आपको पता नहीं है तो आप छात्र नहीं हो, है ना?
यस, एग्जैक्टली,
यस एग्जैक्टली।
CJP Saurav Das on criticism for abusive slogans. Saurav Das says, pursue defamation proceedings against the individuals. Saurav Das also urged young protesters to be mindful of the language they use during demonstrations. Cockroach Janata Party spokesperson Saurav Das defended the right to protest, while distancing the organization at large from abusive language used by some protesters, saying those offended by such remarks should pursue defamation proceedings instead of invoking criminal law. Saurav Das said that the use of the criminal justice machinery against protesters was highly condemnable, and argued that no one should face criminal action merely for using objectionable language. While such remarks may be inappropriate or offensive to some, he said that alone did not justify invoking criminal law, warning that it would create a chilling effect on free expression. I don't think this is acceptable to anybody, especially the younger generation, he added.
Your wish is my command.
Police do not have power to cancel an FIR under the new BNSS law. The police must record information, may in limited categories conduct a short preliminary inquiry, and may decide not to proceed only after recording reasons and notifying the informant as per BNSS 173, 176. Ultimately, only a court can quash or set aside an FIR in exercise of judicial powers.
But sticking with news from the Parliament, the monsoon session debate on the anti-paper leak bill on the 28th of July turned into a very unlikely masterclass in internet slang. Both the Treasury and the opposition benches reached for words that till recently lived only on Instagram Reels, not really inside Lok Sabha. The timing is not incidental. MPs are speaking days after Gen Z, filled the streets demanding to be heard, and they decided the fastest way to look really like they were listening in is to speak the same language, sometimes the same slang as well. Now, it's worth noting at this point that Prime Minister Modi had also directed Union Cabinet earlier this month to strengthen their Instagram presence and build a youth outreach. Now, Tuesday's slang-filled debate sort of reads like a legislative extension of that instruction as well. Now, let me sample some of these for you. Now, BJP MP Basuri Swaraj over there went viral because she said "clock it" while crediting Prime Minister and the government for identifying and fixing the paper leak problem. Then there was the turn of BJP MP Tejaswi Surya, who called the opposition delulu for assuming NEET anger translates into youth support for them. Then there was the Shiv Sena MP Shrikant Eknath Shinde, who used 3 terms in one speech. He called the opposition MIA, you know what that means, right, for staying missing during the early protests, saying later that they caught to the FOMO and joined in what he also called them delulu, for expecting students to back their movement. But then there were use of these very Gen Z phrases from the other side as well. Congress MP Dipinder Hooda invoked the viral meme phrase "Vaste guna huiya." I hope I'm saying that right. Also, who really knows what these things mean? We've also been Googling to try to find out what these words really mean. Means different things to different people. No literal meaning over there, but they have indeed become an internet catchphrase. There was also NCP Sharad Pawar faction MP Supriya Sule, who pushed back on the trend itself. She called it out. She said that the debate was not about the Oxford Online Dictionary or the Gen Z Dictionary, and said the House needs to focus on the seriousness of the issue. Then there was Congress MP Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who took a sharper swipe, saying that if the Prime Minister wants to connect with Gen Z, then changing camera angles in his videos will not be enough. He needs to change the angle of his heart as well. So, our parliamentarians, are they trying too hard? Gen Z did not march to Jantar Mantar for vocabulary lesson, right? They did not organize, get lathi charged so that MPs could learn a word like delulu. What they wanted was for someone in power.
Government goes after Meta removes PM's video. PM's Narendra Modi's July 23 Facebook post on the NEETUG issue was briefly removed by Meta before restoring it. Meta calls it an error. Will you try it with a US or European leader, Meta?
Now, this is the story that has created a huge bit of furor, where Meta has now admitted and has also apologized that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first selfie video on Facebook was taken down briefly due to some kind of a technical error. Now, the Indian Prime Minister's video was meant to address the Gen Z over the NEET paper leaks in the aftermath of the protests.
Jantar Mantar protests and social media Twitter X, BitChat etc. Delhi police have written to X, formerly Twitter, in connection with a complaint that derogatory, malicious and defamatory content is being circulated on social media platform targeting constitutional heads. The police have asked the platform to 1. Delete and remove the alleged posts and video from the platform immediately. 2. Provide the complete registrant details such as full name, address, contact details and email ID of the X account ID holder from which the above content is posted, including login and logout details with time and date stamp. 3. any other relevant information which may be useful for investigation of this case. 4. The details related to the alleged post or video may please be preserved for future. 5. Certificate under Section 63(4) of BSA. Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam, 2023, BSA, requires electronic records submitted as evidence in court to include a specific certificate. This rule mandates identifying the record, detailing how it was made, and providing a digital hash value fingerprint along with expert verification.
Somebody tried to take an app off the internet. The app doesn't need the internet. Deadline to comply, 3 hours. Here's the part almost nobody outside India is looking at. This isn't about one app. It's about what happens after the network goes dark. Cut the internet, people find another way to talk. Cut that too, and it stops being about managing a protest. It becomes whether people can reach each other. According to the order Jack Dorsey posted, India's Cybercrime Coordination Center gave GitHub 3 hours to pull 3 BitChat repositories. Issued 11:16 p.m., July 23rd. BitChat runs on Bluetooth. No servers, no accounts. The Internet Freedom Foundation called it unconstitutional. The official reasoning is on record. Decentralized tools like this can be used by criminal groups to evade lawful detection.
PM Modi forgives students amid abusive video row. In a video message, PM Modi said the language used by some protesters was unfit for a civilized society, but urged people to reform, not punish, the students. Let's guide the misguided, he posted. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday said he was forgiving students who hurled abuses at him and his late mother during the Jantar Mantar protest, describing them as misguided children who deserve guidance rather than punishment or prolonged legal action.
हाय फ्रेंड्स, आज तो मन करता है बस आपसे ही बातें करूं। जंतर मंतर पर जो कुछ भी हुआ देश और दुनिया ने देखा है। कुछ शरारती बच्चों ने भद्दी भद्दी गालियां बोली। किसी भी सभ्य समाज को शोभा न दे ऐसे शब्दों का प्रयोग किया गया। मुझे तो गालियां दी गई, मेरी स्वर्गीय माता को भी गालियां दी गई। न जाने कितना भद्दा स्वरूप था, लेकिन मैं आज बात करना चाहता हूं कि बचपन में गलतियां होती हैं और बचपन में गलतियों से सुधरने का अवसर भी होता है, और यही तो बचपना है। और इसलिए मैं समाज के अंदर जो आक्रोश है उसको भली भांति समझ सकता हूं। एक कल्चरल शॉक है कि हमारी बेटियां इस प्रकार की भाषा कैसे बोल सकती हैं, लेकिन समय है इन बच्चों को गले लगा करके राह दिखाने का। एक गुमराह बच्चे हैं, उनको राह दिखाना हमारा काम है। उनको सजा देना, अदालतों के चक्कर कटवाना, समाज में उनको प्रताड़ित करना, इससे हम परिस्थितियां नहीं बदल पाएंगे। मैं उन्हें माफ करना चाहता हूं। समाज भी मेरी इस बात को स्वीकार करे, क्योंकि मेरे मन में एक ही भाव है। कभी कभी दांतों तले हमारी जीभ आ जाती है, खून निकल आता है, लेकिन हम दांत तोड़ते नहीं है, क्योंकि दांत भी हमारे हैं, जीभ भी हमारी है, बच्चे भी हमारे हैं। उन्हें राह दिखाना हमारा काम है। गुमराह को राह दिखाना कठिन होता है, लेकिन कठिन काम हमको करना है। और इसलिए आओ, मैं इन बच्चों को कहता हूं, बच्चों आओ, हम देश के लिए साथ मिलकर के आगे बढ़े, कुछ नया सीखें, गलतियों से भी सीखें, अपने सपनों को लेकर के चल पड़े। देश बहुत आगे बढ़ रहा है, आगे बढ़ने वाला है, और आपका भी आगे बढ़ना निश्चित हो, यही मेरा सपना है। मैं आपके लिए जीता हूं, आपके उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए खपता हूं। आओ हम मिलकर के देश को आगे बढ़ाएं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दोस्तों। बस आओ, गलतियों से सीखो, आगे बढ़ो।
Meanwhile in Parliament. Monsoon session the 29th of July, 2026. Parliament passes Public Examinations Bill and National Song Bill amid uproar. Vande Mataram Bill passed National Honour Bill.
भारत के सपनों और संकल्पों का उद्घोष है वंदे मातरम। भारत से गरीबी मिटाने के संकल्प का मतलब है वंदे मातरम। हर भारतवासी के राष्ट्र प्रेम का उद्घोष है वंदे मातरम। विकसित भारत का संकल्प है वंदे मातरम। महोदय, इन्हीं भावनाओं के साथ मैं इस माननीय सदन से विनम्र आग्रह करता हूं कि राष्ट्र गौरव अपमान निवारण संशोधन विधेयक 2026 को सर्वसम्मति से पारित कर राष्ट्र की एकता, सम्मान, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के अमर विरासत को और सुदृढ़ करने में अपना योगदान दे। वंदे 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 भारत माता की जय हिंद। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। माननीय मंत्री जी महोदय, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि विधेयक पारित किया जाए। Motion moved that the bill be passed. The question is that the bill be passed. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is passed.
The Public Examinations, Prevention of Unfair Means, Amendment Bill, 2026 passed.
प्रश्न ये कि विधेयक पर विचार किया जाए। जो सदस्य के पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में हाँ वालों के पक्ष में विधेयक पर विचार करने को प्रस्ताव स्वीकृत किया गया। अब सभा विधेयक पर खंडवार विचार करेगी। निम्नलिखित माननीय सदस्यों के इस विधेयक पर विभिन्न खंडों में आए संशोधन हैं। श्री एन.के. प्रेमचंदन, विशाल पाटिल, प्रोफेसर शौकत राय, डीन कोरियाल, नीरज मौर्य, आनंद भदौरिया, श्याम कुमार बर्वे, के राधाकृष्णन, ए.बी. बिडन, लालजी वर्मा, राजेश रंजन, बेनी मेनन, शफी परमबिल, अजय कुमार सिन्हा, मनोज कुमार, शशिकांत सेंथिल, डी.एम. कथिर आनंद। मेरा अनुरोध है, अगर आप सब अपने अपने संशोधन प्रस्तुत करना चाहते हैं तो अपने अपने स्थान पर चले जाएं। तो मैं सभी खंडों के सभा के निर्णय के लिए एक साथ लेता हूं। जा रहे हैं आप? नो। प्रश्न बने। मंत्री जी अब प्रस्ताव करें कि विधेयक को पारित किया जाए।
मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि विधेयक को पारित किया जाए।
प्रश्न ये कि विधेयक को पारित किया जाए। जो सदस्य इसके पक्ष में हाँ गए, जो सदस्य विरोध में ना गए, मेरे विचार में निर्णय हाँ वालों के पक्ष में प्रस्ताव स्वीकृत हुआ और विधेयक पारित हुआ। सभा की कार्रवाई कल गुरुवार दिनांक 30 जुलाई 2026 को 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
तीव्र गति से राजनीति. Agitation in POK versus agitation in India. POK protesters are enemies like India, says Pakistan Defence Minister.
Over 30 deaths have been reported across the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir in the last 2 days. The region witnessed widespread violence during the first phase of polling. POK's Awami Action Committee accused Pakistani forces of using lethal weapons against the protesters. Pakistani police and protesters clashed during the first phase of polling in the region. Several people were allegedly killed on Monday evening, according to the Awami Action Committee, which is a POK-based outfit leading the protests. At least 67 people have been killed by Pakistani forces between June 5th and July 28th in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Pakistan's Defence Minister, Khwaja Asif's latest remarks have drawn sharp criticism. Asif has drawn a parallel between the killed protesters and Indians while defending Islamabad's violent crackdown on protesters in POK. He's seen in a viral video saying, and I quote, "I put the protesters of POK in the same category as India and consider them also as enemies like India.
Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has received permission from the Bombay High Court to file a civil defamation suit against Meta, Google, X and other entities over alleged defamatory posts and deepfake content linking him to the centre's E20 ethanol blending program. The legal battle comes as a new online movement called the E20 Janata Party rapidly gains traction on social media. The digital campaign, inspired by the Cockroach Janata Party movement, is demanding the option of 100% petrol and has also called for Gadkari's resignation. Gadkari has maintained that he had no role in implementing the E20 program, saying it is administered by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Saffron-clad Papu Yadav, opposition stage Ram Temple donation theft skit in Parliament. The Parliament complex witnessed high political drama on Friday as the INDIA bloc staged a symbolic street play over the alleged embezzlement of Ram Temple donations. Independent MP Papu Yadav, dressed as a Hindu priest, enacted a skit in which Rahul Gandhi and other opposition MPs placed money into a donation box before the priest pocketed the cash, symbolizing the opposition's allegation of donation theft. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Samajwadi Party leaders and other MPs joined the protest. Parliament was adjourned. So action was outside the Parliament. Great. I entirely agree that Amit Shah must face the Parliament. Period.
FCRA bill will be introduced in the Lok Sabha next week. We're given to understand that Monday or Tuesday could be the day when that bill is brought in. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will be the one replying on the discussion.
To think that CJP can bring about a regime change is a bit too much to digest. Agree?
You are watching Sanglikar's Weekly.
SC quashed the summons against former PM Manmohan Singh and accepted the CBL's closure reports in the Talabira 2 coal block case, 2 years after his death. The bench said there was no reason for the trial court to reject the CBL's closure reports, setting aside the impugned order and formally closing the matter. Though Singh's appeal became infructuous after his death in December 2024, the court examined the merits of the case before accepting the closure reports. What was the case? The case related to the alleged irregular allocation of the Talabira 2 coal block in Odisha to Hindalco Industries in 2005, when Manmohan Singh also held the coal portfolio. In 2015, a special CBI court had summoned Singh, Kumar Mangalam Birla, former coal secretary PC Parokh, Hindalco Industries and 20 company officials on conspiracy, breach of trust and corruption charges. Singh challenged the summons, arguing there was no prosecutable case, mandatory sanction to prosecute a public servant was absent, and he had committed no criminality. Siddaramaiah won't contest 2028 Karnataka polls, cites corrupted politics.
Siddaramaiah says he won't contest 2028 assembly polls. In a post on X, Siddaramaiah, 79, said he would remain active in public life but had decided not to seek electoral office again. Since the political field has become corrupted today, I will not contest in the 2028 assembly elections. However, remaining active in politics, I will continue to stand as a voice for the people's hardships and joys, he wrote.
Like, Coventry Tribunal's direction to release 3,500 cusecs water per day to TN has triggered a call for Karnataka banned on the 13th of August.
Kaveri water dam dispute, the setback rather for the Karnataka government in the Kaveri water dispute. The Kaveri Water Management Authority has now directed Karnataka to release 3,500 cusecs of water to Tamil Nadu every day. The order comes into effect from July 29th and it further provides much needed relief to Tamil Nadu amid the ongoing interstate water sharing row. Karnataka is now under pressure to comply with the authorities' directive, even as the issue continues to remain politically and emotionally sensitive in both the states.
Slapgate. Like, not many reported that granddaughter of DMK stalwart M. Karunanidhi humiliated and slapped a bank manager. She is not a motre.
सब्र का फल मीठा होता है. Like, Omar Abdullah and his estranged wife Payal Nath got divorced after 17 years. SC must ponder over such delays.
Supreme Court to grant Omar Abdullah divorce after marriage dispute settled. The court disposed of the appeal after being informed that the estranged couple had amicably settled all disputes through mediation.
उमर अब्दुल्ला और पायल अब्दुल्ला के बीच में लंबे समय से वैवाहिक विवाद चल रहा था, यानी कि मैट्रिमोनियल डिस्प्यूट चल रहा था और कोर्ट में अर्जी भी दायर कर दी गई और केस जो था वो उमर अब्दुल्ला ने साल 2016 में फाइल किया और ये कहा कि उनके साथ जो है क्रूएलिटी हो रही है, यानी कि क्रूरता हो रही है और उनका जो वैवाहिक जीवन है वो अच्छा नहीं चल पा रहा है। जिसके बाद उन्होंने पहले फैमिली कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाया और फैमिली कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाने के बाद जो है सुप्रीम कोर्ट का दरवाजा खटखटाया। इसलिए सुप्रीम कोर्ट की तरफ से आज एक बड़ा फैसला आया है और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि पायल अब्दुल्ला हो या फिर उमर अब्दुल्ला हो, 1994 में जब इनकी शादी हुई और 2009 से जब ये अलग रह रहे और 2016 से ये केस फाइल हुआ है, आज जाकर उमर अब्दुल्ला को कहीं ना कहीं राहत मिली है क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा है कि अब वो कानूनी तौर पर जो है तलाक ले सकते हैं।
Shahzad Poonawalla. Like, BJP must woo back Shahzad Poonawalla if he has left BJP. He is an asset for BJP. Shahzad Poonawalla, BJP's TV face, quits party citing personal reasons.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय प्रवक्ता शहजाद पूनावाला का राजनीति से मोह भंग हो गया है। शहजाद पूनावाला ने अपने एक्स बायो से नेशनल स्पोक्स पर्सन बीजेपी का पद हटा दिया है, जिससे उनके राजनीति छोड़ने की चर्चा शुरू हो गई है। इसके साथ सोशल मीडिया पर भी चर्चा यह है कि शहजाद पूनावाला ने बीजेपी से इस्तीफा दे दिया है। शहजाद पूनावाला ने अपने पुराने इंटरव्यू का एक वीडियो क्लिप रिपोस्ट किया है, जिसमें वो सक्रिय राजनीति छोड़ने पर विचार करने की बात कह रहे हैं। हालांकि शहजाद पूनावाला ने साफ तौर पर यह नहीं कहा है कि वो बीजेपी और सक्रिय राजनीति छोड़ रहे हैं। गुरुवार को शहजाद ने अपने अपडेटेड एक्स बायो का एक स्क्रीनशॉट शेयर किया, जिसमें लिखा है धर्म, इस्लाम, संस्कृति, हिंदू विचारधारा, भारतीय लेखक, जीएसटी की यात्रा, पीएम नरेंद्र मोदी के आजीवन अनुयायी। कैप्शन में बस इतना लिखा है, मेरा अपडेटेड बायो।
Like, Madras High Court blocked CM Vijay's scheme of jobs for family members of Karur stampede victims. They are government jobs, sir, said HC.
From the Madras High Court, the High Court has cancelled the job appointments to the kin of the Karur stampede victims. The Madurai bench of the Madras High Court has struck down TVK government's order under which Chief Minister Vijay had distributed job appointment letters to the stampede victims' kin. Earlier this month, remember, during his first ever visit to Karur since the tragic stampede last year, Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister had offered the government job appointments to the kin of 32 out of the 41 stampede victims. The opposition DMK had challenged Vijay's move. Vijay declaring these public sector appointments for the kin of the Karur stampede victims violates the constitution, as well as is not fair to other lakhs of citizens who await a government job. They wait for years, and now of course the Madras High Court weighing in and giving the very same logic that this is not going to be equal opportunity for all, and that's why it has cancelled it as null and void.
And Bombay HC ruled that 2 insects in food don't warrant suspension of food license.
एक से मेरा क्या होगा? तो आप 2 लीजिए।
Crime, terror and accidents.
Ex-SAP Neta Tahir Hussain sentenced to life.
Court observed, and I quote, Ankit was killed because he was a Hindu and happened to be alone there at that time.
The Delhi police has urged a Delhi court to award the death penalty to former AAP councillor Tahir Hussain and 4 others convicted in the murder of Intelligence Bureau officer Ankit Sharma during the 2020 Northeast Delhi riots. Prosecutors argued that Sharma was abducted, brutally assaulted and suffered 51 injuries, calling it a cold-blooded and diabolical murder deserving the maximum punishment. The defense opposed the plea, arguing that the death penalty can be imposed only in the rarest of rare cases and that the specific role of each convict must be carefully assessed. The court is currently hearing arguments on the quantum of sentence.
Former Aam Aadmi Party councillor Tahir Hussain has been found guilty of the murder of Intelligence Bureau officer Ankit Sharma during the 2020 riots in Delhi. It was a chilling murder that sent shockwaves across India. The image of Ankit Sharma's body when it was recovered from a drain in Northeast Delhi is something that no one will be able to forget for years altogether. And now, the Karkarduma court in Delhi has delivered a guilty verdict against Tahir Hussain and 4 others for that murder, along with rioting, kidnapping and promoting enmity on grounds of religion. The other convicts in this case are Najim, Qasim, Anas and Javed. Reports suggest that as soon as the verdict was delivered, Tahir Hussain, the former Aam Aadmi Party Neta, he broke down inside the court. Now, while the political angle obviously made headlines in the crime in the last 6 years, given Tahir Hussein's links with the Aam Aadmi Party, which was in government at time of the murder, what is truly shocking was the brutality and the impunity of the crime. According to the prosecution, Ankit Sharma, serving in the Intelligence Bureau, had come home in the evening of February 25, 2020, when the entire area was engulfed in violence. Soon after, he stepped out for a walk and he never came back.
The 26-year-old's body was eventually recovered from a drain near the house of Tahir Hussain, and Sharma's family blamed the former Aam Aadmi Party leader. That time he was still in the Aam Aadmi Party. He was a councillor from Aam. They blamed Tahir Hussain for leading the mob to kill Ankit. The post-mortem report was horrifying. There were 51 deep cuts found on Ankit's body. He had been slashed repeatedly with sharp weapons. Injuries to his brain and lungs had meant that he bled out on the spot, and then to hide his identity, to cover up the crime, he was pushed into a drain that was filled with sewage. Soon after the murder, Tahir Hussain put out an appeal for help. In his video, he said that he was the one calling the police, not once, but 5 different calls, he said, he had made to the cops. Nobody came. Appeals for help, calls for reinforcement. Many people within his ecosystem then amplified that video of Tahir Hussain to claim that he was in fact a victim and not the accused in this murderous violence. That far from attacking Ankit Sharma or anyone else, he was trying to get the police in. He was trying to save the situation. But sadly for them, that bluff was soon called. During the framing of charges, the additional sessions judge made scathing observations that effectively set the course for the rest of the case. Unsparing, the court observed, and I quote, Ankit was killed because he was a Hindu and happened to be alone there at that time.
Three terrorists shot dead in Udhampur encounter. Afternoon attack. Special forces of the Indian Army and personnel of Jammu and Kashmir police shot dead 3 terrorists in an operation in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur district on Wednesday. The exchange of fire occurred near the Kathul-Basantgarh border when a combined unit of the Army's 1st Para and police personnel advanced towards Kandara Top, acting on intelligence regarding the presence of a militant group in the area. The terrorists opened fire at approximately 12:50 p.m. on the approaching search teams. Four killed, several injured in massive explosion at Assam rod manufacturing unit.
The blast occurred at the KD Global Infrastructure in Pangram under the Utharband police station limits. The powerful explosion ripped through parts of the factory, leaving multiple workers injured, officials said. Rescue teams along with police and local authorities rushed to the spot and launched rescue and relief operations. And the government says,
A massive explosion just tore through a factory in Assam, killing 4 workers. The blast hit a rod manufacturing unit at KD Global Infrastructure in Pangram, Kutcher district, around 11:30 in the morning. Officials suspect a gas cylinder explosion ripped through the factory while dozens of workers were inside. Several others were injured and rushed to nearby hospitals. Rescue teams and police are still working at the site, and officials fear the death toll could rise. The exact cause of the blast is still under investigation. The government told Parliament that no defect was found in the fuel control switch of the Air India Boeing 787-8 that was grounded in February. It has renewed attention on fuel switches, which are at the center of the probe into the Ahmedabad crash. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has informed Parliament that an OEM-level examination in Seattle found no abnormalities in the fuel control switch locking mechanism of Air India's Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. The DGCA ordered inspection followed a February incident where an Air India pilot operating a London Heathrow to Bengaluru flight flagged a suspected issue with the fuel control switch. Minister of State for Civil Aviation Muralidhar Mohal confirmed in a written reply to the Rajya Sabha that while structural integrity checks on the switch detents showed no defects, tests on the complete thrust control module remain underway at Boeing's facility. Fuel control switches remain under high scrutiny globally as investigations continue into the tragic June 2025 Air India crash in Ahmedabad.
Like, there are deadly flash floods and landslides in JK, Himachal and Assam.
Like in commerce, the news of Shailesh Jejurikar being appointed Global Chairman of Board of P&G is welcome. Also, welcome is RBI's decision to introduce polymer notes.
The RBI is set to launch polymer banknote pilot soon, which will really precede the full-scale launch next year.
That's right. After announcing its decision to introduce polymer banknotes, the Reserve Bank of India is now set to begin the first pilot rollout as per the official sources. In fact, the pilot is likely to start with 10 and 20 rupee denomination notes, and that will help central bank assess the performance of polymer currency before a nationwide rollout, and a full-scale launch is actually from next year most likely. But do note that introduction of polymer notes will not replace the existing paper currency. Instead, polymer and paper banknotes will remain in circulation, with new notes being introduced in a phased manner.
Like, Patanjali will now sell insurance. Surprised?
Patanjali Ayurved, best known for its Ayurvedic products, packaged foods and personal care range, might soon make an entry into India's insurance sector. As per media reports, the IRDAI or Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India has approved Patanjali Ayurved and the DS Group's acquisition of Magma General Insurance, clearing the final regulatory hurdle for the nearly 4,500 crore deal. The IRDAI approval paves the way for Ramdev-led group to formally enter the financial services space by becoming the promoter of the general insurer.
Like, SEBI has banned Z. Subhash Chandra and Puneet Goenka from market for 1 year. Bad land deals in Hyderabad.
India's capital markets regulator SEBI has barred Subhash Chandra and Puneet Goenka from the securities market for 1 year each. The regulator has also imposed a combined penalty of 1.48 crore on them. Meanwhile, Zee Entertainment Enterprises Limited or ZEEL has been fined 30 lakh and barred from accessing the securities market for 2 months. The case dates back to 2018. According to SEBI, the original title deeds of ZEEL's land in Hyderabad were allegedly pledged to secure loans worth 726 crore taken by promoter-linked SL Group companies. The regulator says this mortgage was created without prior approval from ZEEL's audit committee, board of directors or shareholders. The issue first came to light after Deloitte, ZEEL's statutory auditor, flagged that the original property documents were missing during the company's financial year 2019 audit. SEBI concluded that because the borrowing companies were allegedly controlled by the promoter family through multiple ownership layers, the transaction qualified as a related party transaction requiring proper corporate approvals.
Like, Chandrasekharan, Tata Sons chairman, got Rs 158 crore as salary. I am curious about his salary as director of other Tata companies. India's hockey teams will wear saffron instead of blue at the 2026 World Cup. Hockey India has defended its decision to replace the traditional blue jersey with saffron for the men's and women's teams at the 2026 FIH Hockey World Cup. The federation said the move was driven by technical concerns, as blue jerseys blended with modern blue synthetic pitches, affecting player visibility. Coaches and players suggested alternative colors before saffron was selected. Hockey India also said saffron symbolizes courage and national pride as one of the colors of the Indian flag. Former captain Viren Raskina criticized the decision, saying blue remains part of India's hockey identity. India has won the men's FIH Hockey World Cup just once, lifting the trophy in 1975 by defeating Pakistan 2-1 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Overall, India has medaled 3 times in the tournament, bronze in 1971, silver in 1973, and gold in 1975. In 1971, Barcelona, India won bronze medal, lost semifinals to Pakistan, won third-place playoff against Kenya. In 1973, Amstelveen, India won silver medal, lost final to the Netherlands on penalty strokes after a 2-2 draw. In 1975, Kuala Lumpur, India won the gold medal, beat Pakistan 2-1 in the final. Post-1975 era. Best finishes include 2 fifth-place results, 1982 and 1994, while recent campaigns saw them place 8th in 2010, 9th in 2014, 6th in 2018, and 9th in 2023. Eyes forward. Mind focused. Heart ready. Game on, world. India's medalist from CWG 2026. Double podium finish. Dilip Mahadu gave it 1 gold in the men's T47 100 meters, with a game's record time of 10.71 seconds. Mohamed Basil Morsinganath claimed silver in 10.83 seconds, completing an Indian 1-2 finish. England's Kevin Santos took bronze after clocking 10.85 seconds. Historic podium sweep. India's gold-silver finish marked one of the country's standout moments at the Commonwealth Games. The double podium finish further boosted India's medal tally at the Games.
India will host its 2030 Commonwealth Games in Ahmedabad, the 100th edition of the event. This move is seen as a key step towards India's aim to host the 2036 Olympics. The Commonwealth Sports Executive Board has recommended Ahmedabad as the proposed host, with final approval expected at its General Assembly in Glasgow on November 26. Ahmedabad and Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, were the only 2 cities in the race. The Games have faced hosting trouble in the recent years, with Durban and Victoria both pulling out earlier. India sees this as a chance to prove it can deliver on time and efficiently. Union Home Minister Amit Shah called it a proud moment, saying Prime Minister Narendra Modi's efforts are turning India into a global sports destination. Indian Olympic Association President P.T. Usha said the Games will show India's growing abilities and support the national goal of Vikasit Bharat 2047. Main venues will include 825 crore Naranpura Sports Complex and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Enclave, which has the Narendra Modi Stadium. Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar will host the event. The Commonwealth Game in Ahmedabad will be a key milestone on India's journey to hosting the 2036 Olympics.
Part 2 follows.